All right, so we're recording, and so we're going to start with the new NCAA legislation that was passed last week. We are basically all NCAA schools are in a dead period until May 31st. So the first day they can, at this point, they can technically be on the road is June 1st, and which is just a few days before our season. So with the 2021 classes and the 2022 classes, this was a little bit more in depth about maybe some recruiting things. I don't think the 2023s are going to need this at this point. So, and I mean that because for those of you that don't know, the NCAA set they gave everybody an extra year of eligibility back. And so that's kind of logging. It's going to create a logjam of rosters and players for the next couple years. So I think by the time that logjam happens, the 2023 class should be good to go. So not that I'm overly concerned about the 2021s or the 2022s. I do have some concern there, but I think it's going to be okay for the 2023s. So, all of this is obviously in flux. We don't know. We're communicating with coaches daily. I'm actually going to roll out some different interviews I'm doing with college coaches starting tonight. And so, guys can kind of hear it from the horse's mouth a little bit, and they get to learn about some programs, get some advice from college coaches. Yeah, we did one with a pro guy today that was a former college coach, and just something, just kind of keep it informative, keep it, hopefully keep the guys learning. If you guys, anybody can watch it, but it's something I just think is going to be just good, and you get to hear from coaches right now, which is always a good thing. So, the biggest thing I think is, no matter what we're doing, I think we've got to learn how to maximize our time. So the most important thing during this is that the players come out, stronger, functionally stronger, that they're able to move really well. They're in shape. They may not be in baseball shape, and that's okay. I think everybody involved in this situation understands that it's going to that you're not going to be, your timing's not going to be great at the plate, or, defensively, you may not be in a rhythm yet. So those are the things that I don't think we can overly concern ourselves with, because the players really can't work on that stuff right now. So, but the most important part for right now today is, number one, players have to commit to being functionally strong. They have to be in shape. That means they have to be running, doing sprint work. Take this time to become the strongest you've ever been and the fastest you've ever been. And if you can do that, then you've managed your time. One of the coaches said today, like, man, if you love baseball, you'll figure out a way to get it done. So all you have to do is just make sure that you are focused, and it's hard right now, and I understand that. But work, continue to work, and treat this like January. The second part I'll say about, what you guys can be doing right now is, everybody's extremely emotional in this time, and they hate that seasons are being ripped away. In the state of Kentucky, we're just hanging in limbo, and so they want to go, go, go. And I 1,000% understand that. But especially for pitchers, there needs to be like a ramp-up phase. So if you're full bore right now, you probably need to tone back a little bit. When it hits May 1st, start ramping up. So when you hit the 1st of June, if we're allowed to play and we're allowed to get after it, then be ready to go. But it's a question of, have a plan when you do this, instead of trying to just constantly just go, and you either burn yourself out, get bored, whatever the case may be. So I think the most important thing is that you have to be creative with your workouts. It's a great time to kind of look around and on the internet and find out, see some stuff that guys are doing. And, number one, again, when we talk about being functionally strong, it's handling your own body weight. It's being able to do as many push-ups as you can. It's about, being able to do some things athletically you may not have been able to do before. So when you get creative, understand if you felt like it worked, didn't, don't worry about wasting time right now, because that's pretty much all we have. And go in and try to be keep it as fun as you possibly can. And, there's some guys that love to work out. I'll tell you a quick story. We had a kid a couple years ago named Matt Higgins that we're, the day before our districts, I'm following him on Instagram, and he's out doing backflips in his backyard. So immediately as a coach, I call him and I go, man, what the hell are you doing? You're out here in your backyard flipping around, posting on Instagram or Twitter or whatever it was. And he was like, oh, I'm just working different muscle groups. Well, you know what? If you want to try to challenge yourself now at this point, it's probably that I can understand that. If it's, the day before you start your postseason play, not a good idea. So go in, try to challenge yourself, and make sure that you are coming out of this, again, this is the last time I'm going to say it, I promise, but functionally strong as you've ever been, as fast as you've ever been. Okay, from a baseball standpoint of creative workouts, if you have a tee, if the tee is the only thing that you have, figure out a way to make it as challenging as possible. And I'll roll out some content this week. The kid that I was using for all the stuff for the younger guys broke his thumb, which was my son. So he's out. So I've got to figure out, I may have to get the swing back in shape and kind of roll some different drill workout and stuff like that. So, but if you're able to, even if you're able to take batting practice with wiffle balls, do it. See how far you can hit them, see if you can break them. Just try to get as creative as you can and try to, again, make it challenging. So I've seen a lot of guys post video recently, which is awesome. A couple things that you have to understand when you're posting video. Hopefully everybody got the email that I sent out about, actually I will send that out tonight to you guys, this age group. But if you're going to video a bullpen, I posted something on YouTube that kind of walks you through the steps of, how the different angles and the things that you need to show. We're going to do one for batting practice this week as well. If anyone wants me to take a look at video, I'll be more than happy to do it. But a couple things, make sure you have a shirt on. Make sure that you are, that you're showing your best swings. Make sure that you are working with the understanding of, I'm not just pumping out content to pump it out. I'm pumping it out to get recruited. And then if you are able to have like a radar gun or something like that, make sure that you show, whether you're hitting the ball or throwing a ball or whatever the case may be, make sure that you show the video in it, okay? We're going to try to post some of this to our Legends Twitter account, and we're going to be, we're going to constantly just kind of keep pumping out stuff as much as we can. So from our end of social media is, I think at this point we have a pretty good following between my account and the Legends account. There's a lot of, we have a substantial amount of followers, a lot of those being college coaches. So we want to keep it as professional as possible. No music in the background, no, it doesn't have to be a production. All it needs to be is you swinging a bat. If it's batting practice on a field, you throwing a bullpen, you know, all the other fluff stuff doesn't matter. Just give it steak and potatoes, and we'll pump it out on the Twitter, the Legends Twitter account as much as possible. So I know I went pretty quick there, but just kind of rehashing everything real quick. No, there can be no on-campus or off-campus recruiting. NCAA is in a dead period. That's the definition of a dead period until May 31st. So the first day those guys are out on the road will be June 1st. You know, we talked about basically what players can be doing now, being strong, being fast, getting creative with workouts. Just some different types of video rule. I don't want to call them rules, but video guidelines of, you know, basically that, sorry, more people are joining in now. Just kind of some different video stuff that you can do. And then, so if you're joining the call now, if you don't mind, please mute the screen. That'd be great. You know, one thing, as soon as we get the clear to go, we're going to start our morning workouts. And so something that we're going to try to do is we're going to try to bring different groups of college coaches into the workouts. So, you know, guys are going to be, you know, from a standpoint of recruiting, guys are missing your high school season, whatever the case may be. So we're going to try to, I can't guarantee it, but we're going to try it. We're going to invite every college coach in 5-6 hour radius to come to our workouts, see what we, you know, see our guys. Depending on how long this goes, you know, I think something that probably everyone needs to consider is playing fall. I don't want to say fall ball is mandatory, but I will say that I think there's no way around it. I think there has to be, you know, if this thing starts getting into July, and the NCAA has already said they're not going to change the recruiting calendar, so Father's Day weekend's still going to be dead. July 4th weekend's still going to be dead, and it's still going to end middle of October. So on top of everything that we're doing now, I'm working on the fall schedule as well. So in the fall, let's say, just for example, please no one hold me to this, but if we start in July, we'll continue right into the fall. So there won't be any kind of downtime or anything like that. If the whole summer gets canceled, we'll start it in the fall, and we'll just keep on working throughout the. We'll continue to work with the shutdowns instead of trying to work against it, if that makes any sense. I think that is pretty much everything. I'm going to go ahead and if you have a question, please feel free to answer anything that's on your mind, or ask anything that's on your mind. Just make sure you unmute your screen. Does anybody have a question?
As right now, the whole summer schedule's as planned right now.
Yeah, so, you know, I talk to the people I talk to mainly are PBR and bullpen. Everything at this point is still on, and it's, you know, I think that, I guess what, you know, not everybody probably either knows or understands is that, like, Lake Point and Grand Park are, you know, obviously they boost the economy, but the city actually makes money from us attending the tournaments. So what I mean by that is, so, you know, all the hotel, you know, where it's pay or stay to play and all that kind of stuff, PBR and bullpen don't make a kickback on the hotel money. The city of Westfield and the city of Emerson do. So I think they're gonna wait as long as possible to cancel anything. I've been guaranteed that everybody's rooms are going to be fine. You know, you'll get full refund on your room or whatever the case may be, but they're going to hold out as long as they can until they know exactly what's going on. Does that answer your question, Heath?
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else? All right, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to send an email out to your group, just kind of recapping the meeting. In that will be how to shoot a bullpen video. And then I will also send a link to this meeting as well. If you need to go back and listen, I know I ended up looking down at the clock. It's when you're on a Zoom call and you only have 40 minutes, you feel like you got to rush sometimes. So I felt a little rushed tonight, so I apologize. So if there's anything that you missed where I went too fast on, feel free to call me, email me, whatever the case may be, and I will. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So appreciate everybody. I know Friday nights aren't necessarily normal at this point, and we're all home generally at this. Friday night at 8. I would have never dreamed of that, but world we live in at the current time. So appreciate everybody for hopping on. Have a great
Thanks, Ryan.